gun violence and the NRA. What prompted me to choose this subject was from the recent shootings in Las Vegas, Nevada, where the gunman used an AR-15. Now, I'm all for gun rights, but your average Joe shouldn't be sold an assault rifle. Hunting rifle? I'm all for. Assault rifle? The NRA just gave cover to Republicans who want to eliminate bump stocks, but the wrath of Breitbart still looms. Bump stocks is a firearm attachment used by the Las Vegas gunman that causes a semi-automatic rifle to slide back and forth slightly but rapidly in the hands of a shooter, with the trigger over and over again at a much faster rate than would be possible otherwise. The device is legal because it does not technically convert a semi-automatic weapon, which reloads automatically but fires manually, into a fully functional automatic weapon, which continues to fire on its own after a single trigger pull. Since a bump stock enables a gun that is semi-automatic to replicate a bullet stream of one that is fully automatic. However, some Republicans have suggested that perhaps the loophole that makes the attachment legal ought to be closed. Well, this is great that the Republicans and the NRA are in agreement. Unfortunately, there's another power player, which is Breitbart. Both of these three groups, or these two groups, the NRA and Breitbart, are flexing their power and also their political skills. We kind of discussed that in chapter 13, where you have power to influence people to do the things that you want them to do. NRA is a nonprofit organization that pretty much lobbies the Republican Party on the Hill to vote for their interests, which is to keep all firearms legal. Breitbart is just a new player in the game that's like, hey, I don't want you to change anything.
Between 40 and 50 people were attending Sunday services at the First Baptist Church of Sutherland Springs this morning. At about 11:15, witnesses say a single man with a gun walked in and opened fire on the congregation.
Appeals court says AR-15s are not constitutionally protected. Sorry, NRA. The Second Amendment does not guarantee a right to an assault weapon. AR-15s and other assault weapons with large magazines are not protected by the Second Amendment and can be lawfully banned. The Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled on Tuesday, February the 22nd, 2017. The Federal Appeals Court, based in Richmond, Virginia, and known for its conservative bent, upheld a Maryland prohibition of assault weapons in unvarnished language, writing that the banned assault weapons and large capacity magazines are not constitutionally protected arms. The Fourth Circuit Court ruling reaffirms previous court decisions that also place assault weapons outside the scope of the Second Amendment. Hooray! But the Fourth Circuit Court ruling tossed aside distinctions between automatic and semi-automatic fire that groups like the NRA have long underscored as being pivotal to the regulation of guns. The Fourth Circuit Court judged that military-grade latency, not capacity for automatic fire, is key litmus test imposed by the Supreme Court. We identify the line that Hegler drew as not being between fully automatic and semi-automatic firearms, but between weapons that are most useful in military service and those that are not. Even though weapons like the AR-15 can be used for self-defense, the court concluded they are unquestionably the most useful in military service. Therefore, the court declared, we are compelled by Heeler to recognize that those weapons and magazines are not constitutionally protected. Unless and until the Supreme Court intervenes, the fight over the AR-15 and similar assault rifles now purely a question of politics. The NRA can yell and scream about the Second Amendment all it wants, but the Constitution trumps that card. At least for now, it's out of play. But the great thing would be is if the NRA thought like most Americans, military style anything shouldn't be bought or sold by me or anybody else in the public sphere.